This is Ruben Comments Podcast. My name is Ruben, and today we'll be talking about Samaritan. This film was quite fun on my first watch. It has Sylvester Stallone playing hero against all kinds of trouble. I brought a guest with me today. He's a old friend of mine from middle school, Kevin to be exact. Let's give a warm welcome to Matthew.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're doing amazing. Yeah. So glad you could join me.
Oh, yeah, man. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess I normally would jump right in, but I guess I'll ask you, how's your day?
Oh, well, I'm doing pretty good. I don't really have much to complain about.
That's good. All right. Now to jump right into the questions. So, the villain had this sort of hammer. It was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah. So my take on Samaritan, I think is a really, really good take on a superhero style movie. Storyline is pretty decent. Don't really have much complaints there. I do like the all the characteristics of each character being drawn out in the series. The show. Like, basically, I like the writing for the movie. I like how both brothers, and even though it was briefly in the very beginning and then towards the end, they kind of dive into them just to give you a bit of a more glimpse into the individuality of each superhero. Well, super and villain, one kind of went the alternative route with having powers, but just how both kind of counteract each other. It's one took on the mentality of keeping the peace, and serving justice, while the other one's kind of went more of a avenging revenge route, where it's kind of this Robin Hood mentality of I'm going to be a revolutionary, and by all means, it's he really didn't have any cut cards. He kind of just went hard with it. I did like how Samaritan utilized the hammer. It's kind of the equivalent to Captain America and his shield. It's it's part of his persona, but it also kind of acts as a symbol, to differentiate between him and what's the name? I forget his name. Nemesis.
Oh, yeah.
I had a whole brain fart. I'm bad.
Oh, good, man. Yeah, he was big. Well, I knew he was a villain, but that weapon was so cool. I was like, dang.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's pretty dope. When you look and see how people come up with these storylines and how they can actually put. I think just the whole process of adaptation and making a story into a movie, and seeing how they can go out and find actors and people to really embody these characters. I feel like it's always going to be a dope thing, which is why movies is always a dope thing. Motion pictures has always been something that's gradually evolved. Given with technology, you got CGI and special effects. You got amazing actors that really just embody these characters and really fulfill these roles. It's a lot of people are dedicated to becoming these characters to give you the full experience and the full story laid out. So it's I did like Sylvester Stallone being casted in this movie. He did kind of give a relatively, I can say it, he kind of fulfilled this role in similarity to him coming back as Rocky in the Creed series. It's kind of even though this is just the introductory of this character, the first time we meet him, he still gives that feeling, that vibe of he's been here before. So it's kind of just him coming back into the light, and I like that. I like Sylvester Stallone being casted in that light, because it's he has that personality, that persona, and the way he just the way he acts. It's he gives off that vibe. It's that uncle, that familiar face.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely gave out that impression.
Yeah, definitely.
And any question you have for me?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, so let me ask you this: how do you think Samaritan distinguishes itself from other superhero movies, given its unique storyline and the unconventional portrayal of superheroism in a film?
Hmm, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I guess, I guess what sets it apart from like Marvel and them is, well, I guess it has a lot to do with the premise. It was definitely giving me like with the intro, it kind of gave me like a Black Adam kind of feel,
Mhm.
like talking about the villain and hero. Yeah, it definitely gave out the impression. What I really liked about it was, I guess, like you can say, like the city they inhabited, it was like all messed up, crime around every corner, and the villain was, well, I guess you can call him Nemesis Junior.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely, definitely. It gave like a Gotham vibe, didn't it?
it did.
It was real dark and gritty.
Yeah.
It definitely gave me that feel, and it's kind of funny because it's like you said, that character like embodying Nemesis and like the whole copycat scenario. It's like it's funny. I've seen that a lot in movies, and it's kind of crazy that they went that route with it, and like how this guy is just like so obsessed and infatuated with this super. We can't even really call him a super because, like you said, just a brief introduction showcases like Nemesis was a villain. So it's like just the fact that this guy is so infatuated with this, let's say, metahuman, this guy with these abilities and his, not only his abilities, but like his mindset, it's like
Mm.
he's that captivated on this person and what they spoke, it's like it spoke values to him to the point where he felt like he had to break into the police precinct and grab his gear and become him. It's like that's got to be a hell of an obsession, like that's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, he was like, he kind of reminded me of Bang in a way.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
the, I've come to liberate you and smash stuff.
Exactly. It's like it's crazy when you see it. You're like, wow.
Yeah, it was it was like so good. I kind of, yeah. Well, I wasn't with him, but it seemed pretty awesome. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
What's your thoughts on the kid?
Sam? Okay. I like Sam. I like the casting for Sam. I like the storyline they gave Sam. I like the hope that Sam carried. Even out to the fact of like, when we get to the end of the movie and he comes to the realization like, oh wow, this isn't what I thought it was. He still carries on that strength and that passion that he could have easily just outed, Nemesis for still being alive, but he still kept that flame going. He still kept that fire burning and giving people that hope. That okay, Samaritan is still out and about. Like that good hope that we look forward to is still there, even given the circumstances and the reality for him. It's like, oh well, I thought it was one thing, but it turned out to be a whole different situation. It's just the whole fact that I like how he carried the situation. So looking back in the movie, I liked how he carried himself as a character. It's like he was constantly and consistently like just showcasing to who he thought to be Samaritan, to tell him, like encourage him, like the streets still need you. We still are looking for that good hope. Even like as a kid too, like the way his character's written, it's like he carries a lot of strength with him too. He's not weak, and I think it's like a foreshadowing. I wouldn't say foreshadow because it's not like he has powers and he'll become the next Samaritan, but it's like at the same time, it's kind of like a look in the mirror kind of for Samaritan slash Nemesis. It's like he kind of sees himself in Sam in aspects, so
Ah,
it's that gain respect as well.
I can definitely see him being a superhero someday. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can agree. It's like that. You see it rubbed off. It's Samaritan left a lasting impression on the kid. To the fact where is that he inspires that boy Sam as much as he did. So it's like we don't know what the future may hold. You never really know, but it's good that, like I said, when we get to the ending and the big reveal, Samaritan truly is Nemesis. The fight didn't go down the way that we thought. He still carries it, like he could have easily, disowned him, and just been, wiped his hands of it and been like, you're not Samaritan, but he still, carried it a certain way, with grace and respect. It's like, I think it's that too. It just showed it showed Sam's character. Like, he was that hopeful and understanding,
Yeah. I laughed so hard when it was like, oh, I'm not the good guy. I'm the bad guy. Oh, that was wrong. They wrecked the place. Yeah, that was probably my favorite scene in the movie. For real.
Right.
I just loved it so much.
Total story flip,
Oh man, Nemesis.
In your opinion, how effective was Sylvester Stallone's performance as the long-lost superhero, Samaritan? Do you think his portrayal added depth to the character, or was it overshadowed by the film's plot inconsistencies?
Well, I definitely didn't. Well, I can't say I spot any inconsistencies, but I do believe Sylvester Stallone is awesome in this role.
Agreed.
Yeah, I loved him. Well, I knew him from the Rocky films. Seeing him play a hero is something he never did before.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Man, he definitely played off that uncle-like figure to Sam. Yeah, he slow. Like, he didn't even, like, Sam thought he was Samaritan, like, and then he was like, it go way deeper than that, but
right.
Didn't tell him. Definitely reminds me a lot. He gave us some fighting lessons.
Yeah. Like I said, I like Sylvester Stallone's performance. He always gives a great performance in majority of his roles that he plays. And I think this was a pretty fitting role. But like I said, it definitely gave me Rocky Creed vibes. Well, no, preferably Creed vibes. And just like the whole, in the shadows and coming back to the light, I like that look for him.
Yeah, me too. I really wouldn't mind if they had a sequel.
Yeah. I kind of want to see the story develop more. I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. Wonder, like, what could they do?
Shoot, it's a lot, that could be done with the storyline, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, like have his own Robin.
Yeah. I honestly could see that. I could really see that. Like I said, he doesn't have powers, so it would be something to see how they write that off. Usually in those sequels, we can look and be like, all right, cool. So, what's next? How are they gonna go about, bestowing him powers? Because usually most of those situations, it's just a hand-me-down situation. Like, okay, I'm gonna go off track for a second. But we look at like a storyline like My Hero Academia. Are you familiar with that series?
Yes.
So, when Deku is bestowed the power from All Might, we kind of actually visually see that, like he actually gives him the power that he holds, and now he's an actual superhero with these buffs, these metahuman abilities. So we get to see that. I think when we look at it, it's like, okay, that's something different. Because this story, let me clarify, this story is kind of different because he's not directly gaining any powers. He's kind of just like following a super around with meta abilities, but there's no real way for him to gain those superpowers. I would want to see how they do that.
Me too.
Yeah.
He says there's a lot they can do.
Yeah.
So I guess we watching it, like, couldn't help but notice a problem. Well, not with the movie, no. With the more like the story. That was this Julian is a hothead. But he also had a point. Right. Society, as we know, is not always perfect. Growing up, most of my friends had good outlooks. It's just a shame back then, like, well, I always had the outlook. Well, like back then, there were those who didn't know any better, mainly bullies on both sides, teachers and students.
Right.
I'm not really political, but I believe there's a better way. Anything you change in our society, if given the chance?
That's a good question. Like in our today's modern society?
Yeah.
That's a good question. But I really can't answer that at the moment. The way I look at it, our society has a lot of variables to it. So I don't think there's a clean-cut, dry answer to it, if you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that we have to go back and work on, and we got to reinvest. You know, there's a lot of things that we would have to sit down and look into, you know, as a society, you know. A lot of problematic things and a lot of way that we've been indoctrinated, I would say, to see it as reasonable or acceptable. It's not just a direct, like, it's a problem with society. It's a problem with the way in which we're living, you know. It's like, you know, it's a consistent loop, you know. It's like generation to generation lives and they take on bad traits and habits and go in ways about doing things and getting things done. So I feel like it's not much of a okay, well, we just need to do this. We kind of gotta just go back and reevaluate, if I'm being honest, on our way of living if we really wanted to make great change in our society. Not that it's impossible, but it's just no direct answer for it.
I feel the exact same way. Well, I guess you'd say I'm a bit of an innovator.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll ask you this. The setting of Granite City plays a significant role in the film, with its dystopian, crime-ridden atmosphere. How do you think this setting contributes to the overall tone of the movie? Does it enhance or detract from the story?
I'll go with enhance. Yeah, like very Gotham, like, well, the crime and all that. Like, even the black kid didn't want anything to do with it. Be like, I'm out of here.
Oh, you talking about that scene where he got beat up? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, Rue. I definitely was a little thrown off with that scene because I'm like, hey, if somebody help me out, I'm gonna at least stick around and help them out. I'm not gonna let them just get whammed on. So I feel like, you know, they jumped that boy. It was like that was not fair. So.
Yeah.
Like back to what I was saying earlier, when it comes to like the setting, it definitely contributes to the tone. Cause like I was saying earlier, it definitely gave off like a Gotham City vibe, like a really gritty, dark. Or you know what? I'll even go to the length to say it kind of reminded me of the tone Watchmen had.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
It did.
How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely gave me that vibe, especially with like the citizens.
Yeah, you know, right? And like, how did you feel about like? So let me ask you this additionally too. How do you feel? Because we, like you said, we talked about the setting. We got the grasp of the movie, the concept, storyline, the characters. So like, being in that, so put yourself in the position of an everyday citizen living in a city like that. How would you feel?
Terrified.
Terrified.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do.
I agree.
Yeah. I probably get like well, if I had a chance, I'd probably leave the city if I can.
Right. No, I feel you on that too. I feel you on that. Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Like that scene where the boys was when they went in the corner store and he distracted them so they could steal the lottery ticket. That was pretty funny.
It was.
Not gonna lie, that was funny. I didn't expect that.
Me neither.
And then those fools had the nerve to get upset because they grabbed a box of chips instead of lottery tickets. I'm just like, hey, you gotta fault yourself. You can't fault nobody else. Like, it's your job. If you around somebody, you gotta at least know what you're taking home. How you gonna be upset? You got your whole box of chips.
That's what they
Uh-huh. They had the nerve to blame that boy for it. They wouldn't have paid attention. That was on them.
For real.
For real.
They should have grabbed a solo while they were at it. Oh man.
Yeah, man. It was like I said, it was a good story. It was a good story. I enjoyed the movie.
Me too.
I enjoyed the movie.
Oh yeah. So I guess this is one last question for me. Why did Nemesis try to save Samaritan in the beginning? He seemed intent on killing him, but I guess he was like his brother and all that. But why did he do that?
I mean, like you said, I guess we could just hash it out that that's his brother. You know, that's his blood. So it's like, you know, the same. You know, blood sticking to water. I think when he was in the heat of the moment, he may have been upset, but then reality kicks in. He's like, dang, you know, it's still his brother. So it's like, you know, that's hard. You know, you got to think about it, right? Like, that's a hard decision to make. No matter how terrible of a person he is, it's like, you don't want to kill your brother.
That's so right.
You know, but it's like, then you put yourself in his position. In his position, is like, it's kind of, you got a hard ultimatum. You know, it's like, if you don't knock him off, it could be potentially worse for everybody in the city. You know, because you know he's kind of unstable and is doing his own thing right now, and that's expensive for everybody else. So it's like, especially you being a hero, you don't want to just leave everybody out, you know, and have them feel like they got to fend for themselves. So it's like, and in his eyes and the city's eyes, he's like the ultimate evil. So it's like, it was either him or them.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
Well, I wouldn't want to kill my brother either. Yeah, not with it.
I can understand that whole situation. And then given the new information towards the end of the movie, you kind of can paint the picture fully of what really happened.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do.
Yeah, for real. So, given the various criticisms about the film's pacing, plot holes, and violence, do you think Samaritan could have been improved by a different approach to its storytelling or direction? What changes would you suggest to make the movie more engaging and cohesive for viewers?
That's a good question, man. See, I don't think there'll be anything I changed necessarily. I really like how it all went down. I thought Nemesis had enough screen time. I mean, not enough. Well, I thought Sylvester alone had enough screen time. Yeah, there's totally nothing I could change necessarily. Well, at least nothing I could think of. I like it the way it is.
Agreed. Yeah, I actually agree. I agree with you, Ruben. Like I said earlier, I liked it. Like, I feel like we live in a super opinionated world, so the people are always gonna have their opinion on something. And see, that's the thing about opinions. You know, everybody is entitled to one, whether they're right or wrong. And then at the same time, there is no right or wrong to an opinion. It's just about the way to which how many people view something a certain way, you know, in agreement. So opinions do matter when it comes to movies because it then boils down to ratings. And unfortunately, if a lot of people are in agreement of the movie and the plot line not working well and flowing well for a movie, it potentially does look bad on the movie and make the movie seem bad. But me personally, I don't go off others' opinions. I like to sit and watch the movie for myself and make that judgment myself. Me personally, I believe the movie was dope. The way it was written and the way it was illustrated, like, it was pretty tough. It was pretty dope. I don't think they could make it any more better than what it is, but expand upon it with another movie. You know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change anything from the movie. You know, how you feel?
Yeah. Well, I guess for me at least, it can be hard sometimes. But like back then, I used to go on IGN a lot. I thought like they were right, but I guess I just had to get away from it because it wasn't really my opinion. It was theirs, but it's all good.
Right.
Like the Mario movie, I watched that like last week. It was awesome.
Great.
Yeah. So I guess just to wrap it up. Well, how would you rate the movie overall? I mean, we all rate, but how would you rate it?
Shoot, I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
I give it a 5 out of 5. Like I said, it did it for me. Like, it's not a bad movie at all. I give it a 5 out of 5. It was a superhero movie.
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't nothing wrong, really bad about it. It was a superhero storyline.
Can't go wrong with that.
You know, and it had a plot twist at the end too. So it's that plot twist element as well that kind of, like I said, it just gives you something to look forward to throughout the course of the movie. It kind of hit on all the elements. It was a nice, dark and gritty. You know, wasn't a super flashy, bubbly superhero movie. It was pretty gritty.
Oh yeah, definitely gritty.
You know, so it definitely hit on whatever it was supposed to be reaching at.
Guess I could say I ain't bad myself. And that's about wraps it up.
Alrighty.
This is Ruben Comics Podcast. Thank you for listening. Next episode will be announced in a few weeks. Signing off. Ruben.